Hello students, this is Inheritance and Variation Part 5. So in this today's session we are going to give a quick recap of some points, that is monohybrid ratio, law of dominance, law of segregation, important terms used in the Mendelian inheritance, dihybrid ratio, and the law of independent assortment. And in the last session of today's lecture, uh, we are going to concentrate on the difference between monohybrid and dihybrid ratio. So in the previous part of inheritance and variation, we have studied in detail what is monohybrid ratio and the two laws which are proposed or which are based on the monohybrid ratio, that is law of dominance and law of segregation. Apart from these two laws, that is law of dominance and law of segregation, a number of biological terms, various biological terms are used by Mendel. So all these terms we have studied, but the technical, as per technical point of view, I have explained it in the earlier session. We will give a recap in today's session also, because all the biological terms are very important uh, for the concept clearance, of course, and for exam point of view. In examination also the terms can be asked, so you have to explain each and every definition of biological term in the biological language. So that specificity is very important as far as your marks are concerned, okay, in the definition. So that's why I'm going to again revise all the important terms which are used by Mendel, and in today's lecture uh, we are going to study dihybrid ratio. Okay, so the dihybrid ratio in detail, and of course the third law of inheritance, which is based on this dihybrid ratio, that is law of independent assortment, which was proposed by Mendel. So the first two laws, that is law of dominance and law of segregation, these two laws can be explained, very well explained, by the first, that is by the monohybrid cross. So law of dominance and law of segregation, both these laws can be explained very well by using monohybrid cross. Okay, but this third law, that is law of independent assortment, it requires the dihybrid ratio. So we are going to study in detail this dihybrid ratio and the third law of inheritance. So before starting the dihybrid ratio in plants, I want to explain you, if you remember, we have studied the sexual reproduction in human beings in the part 3, I guess, or part 4. Somewhere I have explained the human reproduction, how it occurs, how the diploid cell of human beings, that is male parent and female parent, it by fusion uh, gives diploid zygote, and the fusion of somatic cell is not occurring, but the gametes are formed. Okay, and as we have studied in meiosis, that is in cell division, that by a reductional division from a diploid cell, haploid gametes are formed. In case of males, sperm is haploid, that is male gamete is haploid in number, and in case of female, uh, egg is haploid in number. Okay, so as you can observe in this diagram, human beings, they have 46 chromosomes. Okay, and out of these 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs, so they form pair, and out of these 23 pairs, 22 pairs are called as autosomes. Sex is not determined by these autosomes, but all the other characters like color of hair, color of eye, complexion, height, whatever other characters which are phenotypic or genotypic, whatever, but they are expressed by these autosomes. While a sex chromosome, a pair of sex chromosome is present, and that determines the sex of the zygote. Okay, so in short, what I am going to tell you is that when we discuss about the sexual reproduction in animals or in plants, there is fusion of gametes. Okay, fusion of gametes, and gametes are formed by the reductional division. So from a diploid cell, that is 2n number of cell, we get a haploid cell. The cell contains n number of chromosome. From male haploid cell and from female haploid cell, when these two haploid cells they get fused or fertilized, then it forms a zygote, which is n plus n, that is 2n in number. Now observe this slide. These are the sets of chromosomes. The chromosomes are present in set, that is they are in the form of pair. Pair, why there is pairing? One chromosome is, it comes from paternal character. Okay, it comes from sperm. Another chromosome, it comes from maternal character. Okay, from mom, that is from egg. So one chromosome, out of each pair, one chromosome carries the characteristics of maternal or male side, and the other chromosome carries all the information from the maternal side. So just have a zoom look that how the characters, how the chromosomes, they are present in the form of pair. This is very important because now you can observe these are the alleles. Okay, this is a chromosome. Now these are the chromosomal pairs which are present inside a cell. If you observe, these are the bands, capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B. Again, capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B. So these are the bands. These bands, what are these bands represent? These bands are genes. Okay, gene is the functional unit of inheritance, and alleles, these are nothing but the forms of genes. Okay, alleles, these are nothing but the forms of genes. If you remember, we have talked about tall plant and dwarf plant. Homozygous tall plant contains capital T type of genotype. Okay, so these alleles, they are capital T, capital T. In the homozygous dwarf, the plant, the small t, okay, lowercase type of t, they are present on the chromosome. These are that type of genes. So these are the forms of alleles which are present on the set of chromosomes. Okay, so that's all about the sexual reproduction. Here just remember always that from a diploid cell, when you consider example of animals, or in case of plants also, when we breed the plants, one male plant, it carries the information in the form of haploid number, and when it is crossed with another plant, so that those two characters, they are formed in the form, they are present in the form of pairing of chromosomes, okay, in the zygote. And these pairings, these are in such a way which are having separate genes or separate alleles are present on the chromosomal pairs. So let's move to the next slide.
So in this slide, I'm just going to explain you some genetic terminology. I have already explained it earlier. So in this part, I will just read out the terms.
First term is character. What is character? It is a specific feature of an organism. Example, height of stem. So height of stem is a character. What is trait? An inherited character and its detectable variant, that is tall and dwarf. These two are traits. What is factor? It is a unit of heredity, a particle present in an organism which is responsible for the inheritance and expression of a character. Factor is passed from one generation to the next through the gametes. Factor determines a genetical biological character of an organism. What is gene? Gene, it is a particular segment of DNA which is responsible for the inheritance and expression of that character. What are alleles or allelomorphs? the two or more alternative forms of a given gene or factor, these are called as alleles of each other. They occupy identical loci, loci means positions, on homologous chromosomes. Allele is a short form of allelomorph. Now, what is a dominant and recessive character? Dominant character, it is an allele that expresses its trait even in the presence of an alternative allele. That is, in heterozygous condition only. If capital T, it gets expressed even the small t is present. Okay. So alternatively, the allele that expresses in F1 generation, that is in the first generation, is called dominant character, and it is an allele of a pair that masks the expression of other allele in F1 generation. It suppresses the expression of other character. Okay. Recessive. This allele is not expressed in the presence of an alternative allele. In heterozygous condition, it expresses only in the presence of another identical allele. It is an allele that does not express in the F1 hybrid. Okay, let's move to the next slide. What is phenotype? Now, phenotype is the external appearance of an individual for any trait is called phenotype for that trait. It is observable and it is determined by different combinations of alleles. Okay. For example, in P, for the height of stem plant, tall and dwarf are the two phenotypes, where tall is determined by capital T, and in heterozygous condition, capital T, small t, and dwarf by small t. So that is a phenotype, which is an observable character. What is genotype? Genetic constitution or genetic makeup of an organism with respect to a particular trait. It is representation of the genetic constitution of an individual with respect to a single character or a set of characters. P tall plants can have genotype capital T or capital T small t, and dwarfs have small t. So that is their genetic constitution or genetic makeup. What is homozygous or pure trait? An individual possessing identical allele for a particular trait is called homozygous or pure for that trait. Okay, so identical alleles or similar genes. Homozygous breeds true for that to the trait and produces only one type of gametes, that is tall will produce capital T, while dwarf will produce small t. In case of heterozygous, an individual possessing contrasting alleles for a particular trait is called heterozygous. Heterozygous does not breed true for that trait and produces two types of gametes. For example, in first filial generation hybrids, capital T small t, heterozygous individual is also called as hybrid. What is pure line? An individual or a group of individuals or population which is homozygous or true breeding for one or more traits constitutes pure line, and that is plant which breeds true for a particular character. It is a descendant of a single homozygous parent produced after self-fertilization. What is monohybrid cross? A cross between parents differing in only one heritable trait is called monohybrid cross. Example, cross of pure tall and pure dwarf plant. Mendel performed the monohybrid cross between two pea plants, okay, with only one pair of contrasting characters. What is F1 generation? It refers to the first filial generation. It consists of all offsprings produced from a parental cross. Alternatively, it is first generation from a given mating between pure traits having contrasting characters. What is F2 generation? The second filial generation produced by selfing or by inbreeding of a F1 generation offsprings is called second filial generation. Progeny produced from a cross between two F1 individuals. Example, capital T small t when it is crossed with capital T small t. Now, what is Punnett square or checkerboard? It is a probability table representing different permutations or combinations of fertilization between gametes of the opposite mating types. In short, it is a diagrammatic representation of a particular cross to predict the progeny of a cross. What is a phenotypic ratio? It is the ratio of the offsprings produced in F2 and subsequent generation with respect to their physical appearance, that is 3 tall, 1 dwarf plant. In F2, phenotypic ratio in monohybrid cross. We have studied it. Okay. While genotypic ratio, it is ratio of the offsprings produced in the F2, that is second filial generation, and subsequent generation with respect to their genetic makeup. 1 capital T, 2 capital T small t plants, 1 small t plant. Okay, that is 1:2:2. 1 homozygous tall, 2 heterozygous tall plants, 1 dwarf homozygous dwarf plant is a second filial or genotypic ratio in the monohybrid cross. What is dihybrid cross now? A cross between parents differing in two heritable traits. It is called dihybrid cross. Now, in case of dihybrid, we consider two heritable traits, two characters. Cross of pure tall, round-seeded plant with dwarf, wrinkle-seeded plant. So here pure tall, that is height of the plant, tall and dwarf is one character, round-seeded and wrinkle-seeded is second character. So two characters are considered. Mendel also performed the dihybrid cross between pea plants that differed into two pairs of contrasting characters. If you remember the images of this slide, then there are few families. Okay, here is one family. We'll consider it as I'm going to explain it by taking into consideration one character, as I want to explain this family as monohybrid. Okay, so I will just consider one character of this family. So in the next photo, this next image, I'm going to consider two or many characters of the family. Okay, so by coming back to the first, you can observe if I want to explain the single character. So color of hair. Okay, if I want to study on the color of hair which is present in the parents, and that color of hair, how it is getting expressed in the first filial generation. Okay, that is F1 generation. So you can observe the color of hair is transferred. Okay, in both the cases. In case of maternal characters, the maternal character is expressed in the F1 generation, as well as the paternal character is also getting expressed in the F1 generation. So if you consider one character, as I have mentioned the color of hair, in the same way, if in case of plants, we consider the height of stem, height of plant. So if the plant is tall, so that character can get expressed in the F1 generation, and if that plant is dwarf, so that character also can get expressed in the F1 generation. So in this first part of this example, we are talking about, or we are just taking into consideration a single character. In case of human beings, we can consider the color of hair, while in case of plants, suppose we are taking consideration the height of the plant, that is whether that plant is tall or whether that plant is dwarf. Okay, now moving to the next slide. Now this is another family. Here we are going to consider two or many characters. For example, as we are going to talk about a dihybrid ratio, so I will focus on the two characters. The complexion, that is skin color, and the hair. As you can observe, the curly and straight hair. So here in this family, we are going to consider the two expressions, phenotypic and genotypic characters in the form of two, that is two characters we are going to consider. So if you observe the family, the complexion of father is transferred to first filial generation, and transfer of character from the mother's complexion, it is also getting transferred to first filial generation, that is first generation. And talking about here, some characters are transferred to the first filial generation, okay, or some characters they remain hidden and they are observed in the second filial generation. So my point is, when you consider the second example of dihybrid ratio or dihybrid cross in case of pea plant, what Mendel did, okay, in monohybrid cross, he just concentrated on a single character or a single trait. That is, he considered just the height of the plant, or color of seed, or shape of seed, or position of the flower. So he just observed on a single character of that plant. Other characters he just ignored, okay, while studying monohybrid cross. And when he moved further to the dihybrid cross, then he considered two characters at a time. For example, he considered the round and yellow pea and the shape of the pea. Okay, so that if the seed is round and it is yellow, if the seed is green and it is wrinkled, so these two characters he observed at a time. Okay, so again, homozygous, heterozygous, if you remember earlier session, the these terms are very important. Homozygous tall. The homozygous tall plant, it contains capital T genotype. Okay. Homozygous means similar. Homozygous tall plant is a pure plant, pure tall plant. Okay. It contains capital T type of genotype, and this is a phenotype. It is phenotypically tall plant. Homozygous dwarf plant. In this homozygous dwarf, this is again a pure trait which contains small t type of genes. Okay, these two genes are again similar. They are similar, small t and small t. Now, homozygous tall and heterozygous tall, these two plants are different. Okay, homozygous tall is different than the heterozygous plant, heterozygous tall plant. Why? Because their genotypic, phenotypically they are same. Homozygous and heterozygous tall plants. Now this plant is tall, but we don't know, we cannot answer that which type of genotype it represents, okay, which type of genes it carries, which type of alleles it carry, okay, whether this plant carries capital T type of genotype, or whether this plant is a heterozygous and it carries capital T and small t type of genotype. If you remember the law of dominance, which was proposed by Mendel by monohybrid cross. So in that law of dominance, he proposed that the characters which are expressed in the first filial generation, the characters which are expressed, these are dominant characters over the recessive characters. Okay, so as per this law of dominance of Mendel, in the heterozygous tall plant, capital T get expressed and small t it remains hidden, because small t is a recessive character. So that is law of dominance. And when you talk about law of segregation, so if this is a pure tall plant and this is a pure dwarf plant, observe capital T, this is its genotype, and this dwarf plant, it represents the small t type of genotype, if you remember something from the earlier lecture. So capital T when is crossed with small t, okay, now these two pure plants, we are crossing, we are breeding these two plants. Okay, what do you mean by crossing the two plants? Crossing the two plants means we hybridize the two plants. Okay, we breed the two plants. So a pure tall plant, we are breeding this tall plant to a pure dwarf plant. Okay, so by these capital T and small t, by crossing these two genotypes, we get capital T and small t type of all tall plants which are heterozygous in nature. So this homozygous tall plant, if you are observing capital T, it forms a haploid gamete, that is capital T. So from a diploid cell we get a haploid capital T, and this is a capital T, okay, which is coming from the homozygous tall plant. And another dwarf plant, it gives small t. It contributes small t type of gamete. So in the second law of monohybrid ratio, we talk about the gametes, how they get separately expressed in the generation. Okay, so the characters of the tall plant and the dwarf plant, they don't get mixed, but they get separately expressed in the F1 generation. So here law of dominance and law of segregation, that how the gametes they get formed, and by again they are coming together. Capital T is in contact with the small t, but still they remain separate as these get expressed separately in the next generation, what we call it as a F2 generation. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Thank you.